For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a review on a fairly updated product for the 2020 season with Kampa Dometic. So this here is the Grande Air Pro. So the Grande is something that was sort of been around now for a couple of years. Certainly added a new size to the 2019 season. Going into 2020, there's kind of one big major change to the model. So on the kind of visual point of thing, it's very much the same. But now what it's got is an additional zip on the sides, so both sides, so you can add a full-on extra extension like we have with this one here. So we've put a right-hand extension onto the Grande, same kind of depth, so we're talking 3 meters depth. That's the beauty of the Grande itself, but you've still got the same options in terms of the width. So you've got a 330 and the 390, and I've got the 330 here with me now. Generally, the joys of it is that you can, that extra sort of half meter extra than you normally have at 250, I think really helps to make that quite a bit different. So it means you have all your tables and chairs and furniture much closer to the front, making more room when you come out of the caravan, and it doesn't feel like you're on top of everything so much. Same sort of thing in terms of nuts and bolts with the Kampa Dometic range. So you've got a single point inflation which pumps up the whole awning. Admittedly, the extension, because it zips on individually and you buy it as an extra, you inflate that on its own. But single inflation point for the whole awning, very quick and easy, as you can see from our own Attwoolls pitching and packing videos. Took myself doing the Grande no more than sort of 8 or 9 minutes to pitch the whole thing in total. So something that sort of size makes it very easy to put up and down, especially if you're going away for somewhere for a few nights here or there. But you also got deflation points at every single base. Just means it makes it much easier getting the air out of it and packing it away, as we know it's always a struggle to get back in the bag. But luckily the oversized bags do make quite a bit of a difference. It's kind of very much based on sort of the best-selling model, which is the sort of the rally range. So it's the same kind of concept in terms of width, just that extra bit of depth. You've got a dual pitch roof throughout the whole of the Grande, which means that you benefit from extra height internally, but also a much better sort of drainage point. So the middle beam naturally sits a bit higher to allow the water to flow off and then down forward as and when it wants to. The key thing is making sure you get that front edge completely dead straight. But as you see, we've got special videos all towards that. So if you need any help pitching the awning, do check our own YouTube channel. We can give you a hand with that. I think the ability of having the option of having a normal annex on either end or conservatory on either end, or now the new extension, I think works really nicely. There's a full length zip, so it feels as part of the awning rather than sort of like a bolt-on like you'd find with a normal annex. And that's extra sort of about 1.90 meters, but because it goes the full sort of depth, it does create a whole extra room, which is perfect area for either sort of storing, I don't know, bikes, or it can be kind of your wet area before entering in lovely clean carpeted main body. So it works quite nicely. Crystal clear windows throughout the awning to get a great visibility all the way around, and you've still got things like sort of nice strong webbing straps at the front to give you that extra bit of support when you need to, and again webbing straps in terms for the storm straps to give you that extra tension to get it nice and tight and make sure it battles the elements really well. We'll talk for a few more features on the inside, just new things they've added here and there, which I think is probably a really nice option. One thing you can also see is that extra bit of depth in the side here. That extra panel is almost like a whole half a meter of depth, and the zip you can quite clearly see is located there, which the zips on. But we've also done a separate video about how to attach the extensions on, because there's quite a range now with the club now got an attention. The club, the Grande in the all-season fabric. Because that's the other thing, this uses Kampa's Pro fabric, which is something that's been very much tried and tested for many years now. But if you like the concept of this, you can get an all-season model designed to be left up all the time. Alternatively, in theory, because you can remove the sides, you can use it more of a touring awning, but just so it's a bit more rugged, a bit more rough and tough, and it's going to have certainly a longer lifespan, a bit more durable, especially if you're looking at going away to the likes of sort of Europe. Whereas this model, it's more of a touring, up and down, not used for a lot of extended weeks, but so it's a bit more lightweight and easier to put up and down and feed certainly into the rail. But let's have a look on the inside to talk for a few more features about the Grande. So now we're in the Grande, you kind of get a bit more of an idea for the sheer amount of space you've got in here. You know, half a metre doesn't actually sound that much, but in reality, when it's inside the awning, I think it does make quite a big difference. You know, just the ability of having it to come from sort of there rather than there means you're not so much on top of the furniture or the step when you walk out the caravan door. So that's a big bonus. It means, yet again, because of the sort of the dual pitch roof you've got, it's a more vertical upright, means you can get furniture a lot closer to the front, allowing more space behind it. So those two sort of things combined together do make quite a lot of difference. As we talked on the outside, it's a single point inflation, so basically air comes up through here, then it distributes itself through the sort of valves and tap systems here. So it means that one, you know, it's a case of slide it on, peg the back two corners down, pump it up, and you're good to go again. You've got isolation taps which allow you to mean that every beam is done individually. So again, God forbid you've had an issue, it's just isolated that single point itself. So you can unzip the actual outer tube. You've got in a sort of outer sleeve, if you will, there, and an internal bladder. So you just replace the bladder, alternatively repair the bladder quite happily. And that just sits back in so. And it's no different to kind of like your hose pipe type fittings. So it's a really nice, simple system to use. It looks a bit scary, I'm not going to lie, but it is honestly that simplistic. Generally what you're talking about is you've got also previously windows for great sort of visibility, but you've also got curtains as well, kind of like a traditional sort of curtain you find at home, just to make it feel a bit more homely. They run on a track like so, and there's also a little retaining strap just to keep it nice and tight to the front of the panel to give you proper coverage and not having it dangling sort of halfway in mid-air, you see. So that makes quite a difference, especially when you've got a slight slope to the front of it. And then a little retaining clip just with a little button clip just to keep it kind of all neat and tidy and sort of hassle-free to when you want to do it. So that works quite nicely as well. On the front panel, you've also got a secondary zip located, so you can put a mesh panel in place while the existing panel's still in there as well. So again, you can, there's sort of zips running around it, so you can create a little veranda. There you go. Like so. So it just gives you the option of having some ventilation, but also that mesh in place, so on a warm day you can still have circulation of air without having to worry about sort of bugs and the critters coming in. So that makes a, you know, it's the small things do add up to, you know, making it quite a nice awning. You've got Velcro tabs located on the front part of the beams and also in the roof, so you can put things like saber lights located just to give you a bit more light without taking any headroom up. And we all know the awning light on the caravan's typically useless, so something like this, having, you know, two lights run off one socket with remote control to alter the brightness of it, just gives you that bit more flexibility and means that you're not going to be lit up like a Christmas tree in the middle of the night. Because it's the the 330 or the 390, that extra depth in the Grande means you've got a nice section here with again a window panel. With the new addition of the zip on the outside to add the extensions sort of with the left hand or the right hand, it now means that you can have sort of a wet area built onto the main body. Previously you would look at something like the Rally Plus models or the Frontier for that kind of design. So this way you're more flexible and you can make it more modular. So if you're going away for a shorter period of time, you just put the main body up. If you're going away for maybe say a week or 2 weeks, you add the full-on extension just to give you that bit more extra room. Or same if you've got guests to accommodate, you put up and down as your own please. Or so it means you haven't got to take one big bulky awning in one bag. You've got two separate awnings in one bag. The side panels can be completely removed to help reduce the weight when feeding into the rail, plus you have the versatility that they can be interchanged with one another. Now what that will achieve is actually allowing you to change the position of the door. So rather than the door being right next to the caravan, so when, you know, it's going to be a trip hazard with the step, by removing this panel, flipping it on the other side, it then means the door changes position and it goes here as well. So yeah, again, you're walking through the centre of the awning, not at the edge. You've got a really nice big mesh panel on one of the sides, yet again to help give you sort of really nice airflow throughout the awning to keep it sort of, well, a bit more cooler in here, but more importantly to fight condensation, because condensation is a real issue with all these awnings because the material is very waterproof and very lightweight, but it doesn't breathe. So what you find is any moisture where it's coming up from the ground, the internal temperature differences, you will find a lot of condensation in these awnings, to be fair. And that's where ventilating is really, really key. Generally you find it normally dripping off the rings, and that's where a roof liner will help with that, because it sort of kind of catches all the moisture a little bit and stops your stuff getting too wet. Generally also you'll find is that you might have a little bit of dampness around the bottom beams. This is where it all collects because the water wants to find its lowest point, and just so happens it is off the toggle points or off the beam at the bottom. Into the section here, so if I remove this a little bit just to give a bit more idea. So because you've got that extra side extension on, you can unzip this back. If need be, completely remove this panel. I'll lay it flat for the time being. And then it opens up into one big area. And as I say, this would be a perfect area for sort of having sort of barbecue on a terrible day, or for a case of just storing things. So you could have your bikes located here, you dry a dog off before walking into your lovely clean carpeted area. So that extra section really does make it a bit more versatile. You still have a back section to it, so this part actually freestands. It doesn't require any extra measurement in the rail. It freestands, and there's a separate sort of back door, if you will, which means you can actually access any sort of cabinets or units underneath there. So if you've got a storage locker under there, you're not compromised, or a shower to wash the dog off. Yeah, again, you don't have to worry about that. And in that panel as well, there is a nice big window, so you can not obstruct a window if you have that behind there. So that's also a great benefit. And alternatively, if you want to just use this as an extra sleeping compartment, so you've got some guest staying, that's where this works out quite nicely. It's always a toss-up really whether it's worth you sleeping someone inside the awning, whether just buy the normal annex just to have the inner bedroom there, or go for something like an extension and then put an inner bedroom in it as and when you see fit. Yeah, again, in this sort of extension part is a really nice big mesh panel just to help with circulation. I'm going to keep saying about it, to allow an airflow through, but also you can just make this kind of, I see as more of like a sort of, you know, a wet dry area that you don't mind keeping a bit messy before into the furnished final section than into the caravan. So I think that works quite nicely. You can also look at putting in a bedroom inside of here if you wanted to. Personally, I feel the annex is better because you might as well use your internal space for, you know, living in rather than sleeping in. So that's one thing I will probably say. But overall, quite a smart model. I think the addition of having that extension on the side really opens it up to making it very big or more small and compact. So there's certainly more flexibility in what you can do with it. And you've still got the update in sort of that carries over from 2019 to 2020 with beam casings upgraded, and so again all about making it more durable, make it last longer. As said before, there's worth considering the all-season version of this product, which we tend to have up on display at our indoor showroom in Gloucestershire. And again, it's a really good idea if you want to pop down and see us to get a real indication of size, because on a bit of paper, the difference between something like a 250 depth, 275 depth, or 3 meters depth may not seem a lot, but when you step inside the showroom we have all indoors and you go, okay, that makes a difference. And we always tend to cross-reference things. So if we haven't got a 330 up of one, we'll have a 390 up in another. So we try and get the sizing and spec all mismatched, so you can pretty much nearly nail everything in Kampa's range in our showroom. So that's something we do try and pride ourselves on. But let us know what you think of the awning. By all means, comment below or check our website out in the link below for more information on the current prices we're doing on this particular model, as well as other videos that we do about pitching and packing and so forth. So that's kind of our video review on the Kampa Dometic Grande Air Pro in the 330 size and also the 390 size as well.